Okay, so I've given you a little bit of introduction to why I am sharing these videos at all because I could be sleeping, I could be eating, I could be hanging with friends, I could be hanging with my kids, whom I adore, but I'm doing this and I'm doing this for a purpose. It's to help you in your particular life change, life shift, life challenge. I want to help you with the principles I'm applying in my own life. So I'm not shouting it down from some high top mountain. I am in the trenches and I am going to share this with you. So let me back up just a little bit. In this shift, I started feeling like I was sharing those feelings, that fog, confusion, the avoidance. Have you ever had that? You really want to do something, but you're avoiding it like the plague. You're binge watching these shows on Netflix. I'm watching North and South like for the 500th time. I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? So as I considered this, I've had some experiences over the last few weeks that have kind of led up to this. And then even before that, some life shifts. So let me just share with you kind of where this has come from and where I'm at right now. And that might be able to relate it to you. So I've made some major shifts. Last fall, I am a mother of 7, and my youngest went to kindergarten. Shift, that is a life change right there because suddenly all of this way of living and doing is now from the Play-Doh and the preschool things and all of that, it's now shifted to where I had time in the morning. And even though I do what I do with my speaking, my writing, my program for women and things like that, even though I do that late hours, early morning, doing it while they're at preschool, doing it while they're at dance, now it's shifted to where I had consistent time. And so that was a big shift and an end of an era, quite frankly. And then another shift that was harder, but I went through a divorce and that was extremely difficult. And then another shift, he got engaged 2 months later. And then another shift, a few months later, my daughter graduated from high school, my oldest daughter. And all of these shifts just gear to gear to gear, shifting. And as I've tried to keep up with those shifts and then the opportunities that have come, the changes that have had to be made, the new phases of my life that I'm now facing and embracing, and some days trying to embrace and other days really avoiding. Now I'm having to look at the things that I want from life and how I'm going to make those things happen. And that's part of this big shift. So now it's all come to this place that I'm at, which I am calling now in lieu of or in honor of Gay Hendricks, who wrote the book The Big Leap. It is my big leap, and it took me a while to realize this. I think what I was having, if you've read that book, it's fantastic. And he talks about dealing with your ULP, your big old ULP, and that's your upper limit problem. And I think that's what I've been facing is he talks about going through some different zones in your life. I don't know, I can't remember all of them, but there's the zone of incompetence and zone of competence. So things that, incompetence, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm really familiar with that zone. And then zone of competence. And then I've learned to do things that I didn't really think that I could do, but I'm competent at them and I can do them. I can type if I need to and I'm competent. Then zones of excellence, things that you do that you're excellent with. And there are things that I have learned and been able to voice that, yes, I am excellent at those particular things. I know how to write. I've written 17 books and I know something about writing. So I'm excellent at writing. But that is not my zone of genius. And that's what Gay Hendricks talks about, is the big leap is going from particularly the zone of excellence into your zone of genius. And I think that's what I've been fighting. And that's what I'm sharing in these get real kind of videos, is really wrestling with this. Is this because it's something I'm not to do? Is it something that is not the right time? Is it that I'm coming out of the zone of excellence where I've done media, I've done TV, radio, newspaper, magazines, and it's very comfortable for me. But am I needing to now go from this zone of excellence that I do something very well, I could do it in my sleep probably, and then break through to this zone of genius? And that's where I think I've been. Have you been there? Have you been from the zone going from one zone to another? And have you felt those feelings? Some of those feelings that you might feel is that confusion, the fog, the avoidance, the lack of motivation to do the very thing that you probably really, really want to do. For me, I want to get my messages out to more people, particularly women. I want to get these messages out because I know over 20 years of my coaching, mentoring, I know these work. And I have women all the time who come to me and say, I feel so out of control in my life. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I've lost my purpose. I feel so disorganized. I feel such a lack of joy. And I want to scream, I've got principles that will work for you. And so I think what I'm dealing with is this upper limit problem where I know what it is that I have. It works, but I think I'm scared to get it out on a bigger scale. I've been raising these 7 children, doing this with my left toe, with the early hours, late nights, blah, 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 and trying to do all this so that I could put family first. And now this unexpected experience of this new phase sort of before me of, wow, now I really need to do this bigger, and I really would like to do it bigger, but what does that look like? And am I ready? And can I do this? And what if I fail? All of these years that I've wanted to help them on a bigger basis, but what if I fail? And so those big fears come to you, big as life. Kevin Worthen, who is the president of Brigham Young University, he shared a talk, a devotional, I believe it was for the beginning of the school year. And he talked about fear, and he was quoting someone, I believe, with the acronym of, it was the acronym of fear, FEAR, and it's false evidence appearing real. And have you experienced that? Where there's false evidence, but it just appears so real. I think Brene Brown, and I think all these different people out there, Gabriella Bernstein and everybody, and what are they doing? They're doing all these marvelous things. What do I have to add? How could I make it in that kind of market? I'm a mother of 7, and I've been doing this with my left toe for 20 years, though I've been intense and doing it seriously and having those bursts. But what do I have? And so we start dealing with that breakthrough problem of that upper limit thing of, can I do this? Am I allowed to do this? Is it okay for me to do this? Is this where I'm supposed to play? And so that's what I've been dealing with lately. And it kind of came to a head this last weekend where I was really struggling with this. I've been working with a media company. We're trying to move forward, and I've been feeling this stuck, like wheels in mud. Just what is going on? What is stopping me? And so in the next video, I'm going to share with you kind of the solution that was so pivotal to me to be able to find this weekend and how I found it. So stay tuned.